Alright, here we are again. Another anamorphic lens review in the wild. We're just gonna walk around, check out this new Sirui 35mm full frame anamorphic lens and see what we can capture with it. I'm just gonna take you along, Paul's gonna film, and let's see what shenanigans and things we can get into and what people we meet. Well, let's go. So we may not have the best light right now, but still beautiful with the skyline. If you have the sunset right, all this orange light just basically bounces back and forth between the building, and it's like the most spectacular view in the city. But I still dig it, even with the blue sky up there. It's always just some fun parallax shots that you can get when you run it with a gimbal like this. And now we make it an anamorphic parallax shot. Why not? For some reason I always shoot the Marina City when I have the Komodo on the gimbal. Oh, sorry. Gotta not block your view with the camera if possible. I started out with photography many years ago, and it was always architecture photography. So when I go back with a camera and a gimbal, it's a total playground, especially in Chicago, trying to find some nice compositions, some structures, and then bring in the movement. And not trip in the process of it. I think that fascination with the lights of police cars starts when you're really young, because it still attracts me for some reason, especially when shooting on an anamorphic lens. It's the perfect time to try out and see if we can get some lens flares. They're definitely noticeable here, but not too strong. They're blue. We gotta try out other light sources later on to really evaluate the quality of the flares. But like the 50mm version, they are blue streaks flares. And actually with the 50mm version, if you have that one, the nice thing is they have the gearing positioned at the same size as a good CineLens or CineLens set would do. So if you swap lenses, you can easily place them so that your focus mode or your complete fist system is still in the right spot. So good to know. I gotta check actually how these two lenses match up. They should do that very well. They're basically spec-wise very similar or the same except for the focal length. And obviously like the 50mm is actually a little bit bigger and heavier. So this one is a little more compact, but as you can see, it flies on the Ronin. Overall with the Komodo, I think it's a nice little package. This is where I shot the 50mm review here. Just waiting for the trains to cross. Wait a second, there's one coming. On point. The only difference was that we shot it during Chicago Henge and there was a nice sunrise coming here. Too bright. Stop it down. Oh boy. We're gonna film now professional people in front of the camera. And the weather guy. Oh wait. There's not even a camera operator anymore. I mean, like they're cutting down costs everywhere. It's not even funny.
Pulling up his fans, man. I'm a rapper, bro. I make music.
Your Instagram.
I real Joey Helms.
Hi.
Follow me on Instagram. If you are not already. Whoa, where are these people coming from? We're now in Millennium Park. Great sculptures and architecture here. Since when do you have a skateboard?
Forever?
I've never seen you skateboarding.
No, because you drive the bike here.
Pierre, that's
How
Paul,
you doing?
Paul, Pierre.
Hey Paul, how are you?
We can soon commence the bokeh test because I think we now have a good kind of lighting conditions where all the street lights are on and still have enough ambient light to get some nice contrast. So see over there might be a good situation for just to check it out. So here we have a couple of street lights. So if I'm gonna go all the way close to 85 centimeters, and we gotta use Paul as the close focus subject. So just that we have something in the foreground to make it look more interesting. So now we have 85 centimeters close focus distance. That's how. So yeah, what I noticed is like some sort of shape. It's not like an oval shape. It's more like a 6-hectare septacon. What I find really interesting is the shape of the bokeh. The only thing about it is how does it match with the 50mm in that context, right? Because if you shoot with the same set, you want them to look very similarly. And I did not notice that more cornered shape rather than a round shape on the 50mm. Let's get some flare testing going. You're getting the same turquoise color that you have on the 50mm, but it is not as pronounced, I gotta say. Which is not a bad thing, because sometimes these anamorphic lenses, especially the more budget ones, have a very, very strong and intense streaking look. And this one isn't too bad. Actually, what's interesting is that all light sources feel like it's almost we're using a pro mist. They seem all a little bit diffused and softer, which I really dig. And it gives you a little bit more of a feel of a vintage lens. You see that? You get this like normal looking but wider field of view, right? That's what you know from movies. Basically, anamorphic lenses were invented to make, back when TV was getting more and more popular and cinema had to really stand out somehow, they came up with this whole anamorphic concept to give this like wider field of view that has like all these... Yeah, TVs became so ubiquitous, and like, you know, nowadays we have 3D, right? That's basically the equivalent of like, oh, let's do something different. Yeah, and back then when you shot on film, you had to have like this anamorphic lens to shoot it differently in this different aspect ratio, but then also the projector that projected it on the screen had to be different as well to de-squeeze that basically again. Got a little dark for the Komodo now. This is actually a T2.9 lens, so equivalent of f2.8. It's not the fastest, but pretty standard. Now Sirui also released this 1.25 X Anamorphic Adapter, and you've seen footage of that with these lenses in combination throughout this video, but it basically takes the 1.6 lenses to a total squeeze of 2x, which is basically the maximum you really want to get it to. What I like about it is its robust feel and build quality. It is heavy, yes, because there's a lot of glass in it, but it's also nicely adapted to the Sirui anamorphic lenses. And a nice little feature that I was missing on other anamorphic adapters like the Anamorphic is that you actually have a little button here so that you can turn, once this is screwed on your lens, you can turn it and adjust it so that the stretch is aligned horizontally with your lens. Now, what you have to know with these anamorphic adapters is that you have basically another focus ring and you have to double focus, especially when you go into close focus distance. So usually you focus this lens in infinity and then go just focus with this adapter, but if you're gonna go closer to your subject, you have to sometimes double focus. Definitely something to consider. When throwing on this adapter, I noticed some fringing of the bokeh balls and also some softness. Especially when you shoot wide open, you notice that softness, and particularly at the edges of the image. But sometimes you just want to go for that kind of look. Also, you can use this on any other lens and make it basically a 1.25 X anamorphic lens. It's an 82mm thread here. Now, to conclude this video, here are my final thoughts on the lens and the adapter. I'm really digging that it's a 1.6x stretch, which brings the anamorphic image characteristics way more to life than, for example, the Sirui 1.3 stretch Super 35 lenses, where the stretch is not as extreme and the bokeh and the fall off is not as prevalent. Now, you can obviously boost this one to 2x and really widen your field of view. I also like the diffusion effect that you get when you shoot wide open with these. Obviously, the softness then is getting boosted once you use that adapter, so that's something you need to keep in mind, especially focusing gets very tricky at that point. And also the double focusing, obviously always a downside of such an adapter. What's a little bit irritating are the heptagon-shaped bokeh balls on the 35, which I have not seen as prevalent in the 50mm. So if I compare those bokeh balls to those that I've seen on the Nanomorphs, review up here, I prefer those. Now all of these drawbacks might be things that you actually desire, and if not, is something you have to live with in an affordable anamorphic lens that you can even get in a set of a 35, 50, 75, 100 and 135 is coming as well. So overall, I think for the price, which hovers always around 1,500, 1,700, I think they're all like in that price range. It's definitely something that is changing the market overall in the lens field, and I'm excited to try more of these lenses. So stay tuned. As always, thanks so much for watching. There's more videos around anamorphic lenses coming on this channel, so make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you enjoyed this, like the video and leave a comment. Leave a comment of what you think about these lenses and the footage that we shared. Is there anything that stands out to you? Definitely let us know down below. And as always, have a good morning, have a good night, whenever and wherever you are around this beautiful planet. Bye bye.